How's it going, guys? JCVP11 here, and while most tech enthusiasts are aware of what happens at WWDC, average consumers might not be, and maybe that's why you clicked on this video. At yesterday's Apple event, a number of things were announced, but the ones that stood out the most was Siri and Apple Pay, a universal clipboard, messaging and widgets on iOS 10, and opening up to developers, which I'll get to in a bit. With Mac OS Sierra, Apple introduced Siri for the first time on Macs. Siri has become much smarter than its previous iterations, and it can go through general queries and even refine them on the Mac itself, as well as queries relating online. For those people who like to use virtual assistants a lot, the new features and the smarter version of Siri will be quite helpful. And while I don't use virtual assistants a lot, the other changes on macOS Sierra are what really interested me. There was a universal clipboard feature introduced onto macOS Sierra and the iOS ecosystem, which means that if you copy anything on your Mac, for instance, you can paste it seamlessly onto, say, your iPad or your iPhone without having to copy it once again on the other device, which is a great feature that Continuity added yesterday. Building on this is Apple Pay for Sierra. So if you're on your Mac once again and you're trying to pay for something, you can make the transaction carry forward to your Apple Pay account on your iPhone, which means you can authenticate the payment using Touch ID and your fingerprint scanner, and you're pretty much set to go from that point onwards. By far, universal clipboards and Apple Pay using Continuity is the best productivity feature that was announced at WWDC yesterday, and I'm looking forward to these features coming over to other platforms, not just Apple platforms, for me to use because I don't use any Apple products at the moment. Moving finally on to the much awaited iOS 10, while the whole UI has been overhauled, major changes are found on the lock screen in terms of widgets, as well as in the messaging app. The lock screen is now accessible as soon as you pick up your iPhone, in what Apple are calling Race to Wake, which is similar to Active Display on Android smartphones. You can 3D touch notifications on the lock screen and interact with them, so you can reply to SMSs or emails, as well as see pictures attached to messages or emails straight from your lock screen. And if you want to dismiss all your notifications at once, there is an option to do that, so it's not like the multitasking pain which desperately needs a delete all button. The messaging application also received a major update and is now adapting to the future, which is apparently typing in emoji. Emojis now appear 3 times bigger, and you can replace words that you type using emojis, where Apple allocates a certain emoji tied up to a certain word. So let's say happy ties up to a happy emoji. Quick typing has also become smarter on iOS 10 with Siri implementation, which allows quick type to actually predict words and emojis based on context. And while there are other features like sending in animated texts, whole screen text, sending pictures and messages, sending personalized handwritten notes, sending personalized smiley faces, etc., etc., I don't think they're going to be of use as much, because to me they seem like gimmicks more than actual features. And not to discard iOS 10 as a very small update, other features in other applications like voicemail transcription, an inbuilt caller ID to avoid spam, or the fact that you can now have rich links for photos and videos and you can play them straight from the messaging app you're on, are great new additions to iOS 10, and I'm looking forward to getting a final build sometime in September. All aside, a big piece of news that came in yesterday was the fact that Apple are now opening up slightly more to developers, with their applications for Maps, messaging and Siri being open to developers. They can bake in their own new features onto these applications to make the overall experience even better. But yeah, those were the major takes from WWDC yesterday and this year, and there were slightly smaller announcements made to watchOS as well as tvOS, and if you want details on those announcements, you can go check out our website where we have covered every single announcement in extensive detail, and you'll be able to find all the information about all the announcements made at WWDC on there. So make sure you check it out in the description. That's been it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. But until then, adios.